Hello students, here we are once again with JPIC Digital Study. Today we are going to read about the chapter 2nd of prose. The chapter name is A Fellow Traveller. It was written by A.G. Gardner. His full name of Alfred George Gardner. He was born on 2nd June 1865 and was died on 3rd March 1946. He was a great editor, author and a journalist. The prescribed lesson for you is A Fellow Traveller. In the lesson, the writer has told us that once he was travelling in a train and was disturbed by a small insect named mosquito. It was disturbing him very much. He was so much disturbed with it that he wrote about his travelling with him in one of his prose and essay described in this lesson. So student, come and see your textbook and learn about the lesson what the writer had told us about his fellow traveller. See your textbook and see. I do not know which of us got into the carriage first. Indeed, I did not know he was in the carriage at all for some time. It was the last train from London to Midland town. A stopping train, an infinitely leisurely train. One of those trains which give you an understanding of eternity. It was tolerably full when it started, but as we stopped at the Suburban station, the travellers alighted in ones and twos, and by the time we had left the outer ring of London behind, I was alone, or rather, I thought I was alone. In this para, the writer had described that he was travelling in a train and people in such a station up, down the train one by one, and the editor was alone, and he described that the full compartment is empty, only there was a single traveller, and that was writer. राइटर कहता है कि वह जिस ट्रेन में यात्रा कर रहा होता है उसमें से एक स्टेशन पर एक एक करके सभी ट्रैवलर उतर जाते हैं और वह अकेला रह जाता है और पूरा का पूरा कंपार्टमेंट खाली है. There is a pleasant sense of freedom about being alone in a carriage that is jolting noisily through the night. It is liberty and unrestrained in a big, very agreeable form. You can do anything you like. You can talk to yourself as loud as you please and no one will hear you. You can have that argument out with Jones and roll him triumphantly in will hear you. And the just without fear of counterstroke. You can stand on your head and no one will see you. You can sing or dance or two-step or practice a goal stroke or play marbles on the floor without let or hindrance. You can open the window or shut it without provoking a protest. You can open both windows or shut both. Indeed, you can go on opening them and shutting them as a sort of festival of freedom. You can have any corner you choose and try all of them in turn. You can lie at full length on the cushions and enjoy the luxury of breaking the revelation and possibly the heart of Dora herself. Only Dora will not know that her heart is broken. You have escaped even Dora. In this para, the writer described about his eternity in the train. He said that he was only one traveller in the compartment, so he thinks that what he thinks he can do. He can sing, he can dance, he can play, everything. What activity he can want, he will do in that compartment. इस पैराग्राफ में राइटर कहता है कि वह ट्रेन में अब अकेला मौजूद है. वह चाहे तो उसमें नाच सकता है, गा सकता है या गोल्फ की प्रैक्टिस भी कर सकता है. वहां पर उसे देखने वाला, उसे सुनने वाला कोई नहीं. चाहे तो वह ट्रेन की सारी खिड़कियों को खोल दे या सारी खिड़कियों को बंद कर दे, या किसी भी सीट पर लेट कर एंजॉय करे, या बैठ जाए या सो जाए, कोई उसको डिस्टर्ब करने वाला नहीं है, ऐसा वह बताता है। On this night I did not do any of these things. They did not happen to occur to me. When I did was much more ordinary. When the last of my fellow passenger had gone, I put down my paper, stretched my arms and my legs, stood up and looked out of the window on the calm summer night through which I was journeying. Nothing the pale remains of day that still lingered in a northern sky, crossed the carrier and looked out of the other window, lit a cigarette, sat down and began to read again. It was then that I became aware of my fellow traveler. He came and sat on my nose. He was one of those ringy, nippy, intrepid insects that we call vaguely mosquitoes. I flicked him off my nose and he made a tour of the compartment, investigated its 3 dimensions, visited his window, fluttered on the night, decided that there was nothing so interesting as that large animal in the corner, came and had a look at my neck. In this paragraph, the writer says that I was fully beware of that very insect which was fluttering in the compartment. He sometimes moved here and there in the compartment, and after that he began reading. Then that very creature, the small insect which we called mosquito, come and sat on his nose. When the writer plucked it off from his nose, he began fluttering here and there, inspecting all of the windows to come out. But once again he came there and the writer was very upset with it. राइटर कहता है कि मैं अपने कंपार्टमेंट में तरह तरह की एक्टिविटीज कर रहा था, क्योंकि मैं अकेला था, मुझे सुनने वाला या मुझे देखने वाला कोई नहीं था। थोड़ी देर मैं कभी इस सीट पर बैठता, कभी उस सीट पर बैठता, और अपने साथ चल रहे उस अपने साथी यात्री से मैं पूरी तरह से अनजान था। राइटर कहता है कि थोड़ी देर बाद जब मैं अब थक गया तो मैं बैठ करके कुछ पढ़ने लगा। ठीक तभी मेरा जो साथी यात्री था वह आकर के मेरी नाक पर बैठ जाता है। जब मैंने उसको हटाया तो एक बार फिर से वह छोटा सा क्रिएचर, जिसको कि हम लोग बहुत ही नफरत के साथ देखते हैं और उसको मच्छर का नाम देते हैं, वह इधर उधर उस रेल के डिब्बे में उड़ा, फिर उड़ करके फिर से घूमकर वापस आया, और उसे और कोई नहीं बल्कि मैं ही एक प्राणी दिखा, जिसकी गर्दन पर फिर से वह आकर के बैठ गया। I flicked him off again. He skipped away, took another jaunt round the compartment, returned and seated himself impudently on the back of my head. It is enough, I said. Magnanimity has its limit. Twice you have been warned that I am someone in particular, that my august person resents the tickling impudence of a stranger. I assume the black cap. I condemn you to death. Justice demands it and the court awards it. The counts against you are many. You are a vagrant. You are a public nuisance. You are traveling without a ticket. You have no mint coupon. For these and many other misdemeanors, you are about to die. I struck a swift, lethal blow in my right hand. He dodged the attack with an insolent ease and humiliated me. My personal vanity was aroused. I lunged at him with my hand, with my paper. I jumped on the seat and pursued him round the lamp. I adopted tactics of feline cunning, waiting till he had alighted, approaching with a horrible stealthiness, striking with a sudden and terrible swiftness. In this very para, the writer describes about his struggling with the mosquito. He tells us that once again I was trying to flick it off, but once again it flew away. I could not reach to it. Then after some time it pushed down on my back. I tried to flick it off, but it was moving here and there, and time to time sitting at my different organs. I was very disturbed with it. I told to myself that it was enough. He had to die. He had condemned to death, and the justice wanted. राइटर कहता है कि न्याय की यही मांग है कि उस मच्छर को मर जाना चाहिए था, क्योंकि मैं बार बार उसको हटा रहा था और बार बार वह मुझको डिस्टर्ब कर रहा था। उसकी एक गलती और भी यह थी कि वह बिना टिकट के यात्रा कर रहा था और एक टिकट लिए हुए सब नागरिक को परेशान कर रहा था। मैं बार बार उसको हटाता, बार बार वह हट जाता। इस बार मैंने थोड़ी चतुराई दिखाना चाहा कि वह अगर कहीं बैठ जाता है तो मैं उसको मारूंगा। फिर मैंने अपने दाहिने हाथ से उस पर वार किया, लेकिन एक बार फिर से वह उड़ गया। मैंने पेपर से, पंखे से, कई चीज़ों से उसको मारना चाहा, लेकिन वह फिर से उड़ जाता है। फिर मैंने चुपके से उसे मारने का प्रयास किया, लेकिन वह उड़ गया। It was all in vain. He played with me openly and ostensibly like a skillful matador, fitnessing round on infuriated bull. It was obvious that he was enjoying himself, that it was for this that he had disturbing my repose. He wanted a little sport, and what sport? Like being chased by this huge, lumbering windmill of a creature who tasted so good and seemed to so helpless and so stupid. I began to enter into the spirit of the fellow. He was no longer a mere insect. He was developing into a personality and intelligence that challenged the position of this compartment with me on equal terms. I felt my heart warming towards him and the sense of superiority fading. How could I feel superior to a creature who was so manifestly my master in the only competition in which we had ever engaged? Why not be magnanimous again? Magnanimity and mercy were the noblest attributes of man. In the exercise of these high qualities, I could recover my prestige. At present, I was a ridiculous figure, a thing for laughter and derision. By being merciful, I could reassert the moral dignity of man and go back to my corner with honor. I withdraw the sentence of death. I said, returning to my seat, I cannot kill you, but I can reprieve you. I do it. In this very para, the writer describing that the struggling with the insect was in vain. He told us that when that very insect, the mosquito, tried to disturb the writer, he think that he had made it his prestige, and I also wanted to recover my prestige. After that, the insect disturbed me. I want to struggle with him. I want to kill him, but the true humanity of mine was annoying me. It denied that I have not to kill the mosquito. I have to aware it. राइटर कहता है कि मैं उसके साथ संघर्ष करते करते गुस्से में था, लेकिन उसे मारना व्यर्थ गया था, क्योंकि बार बार वह बच जाता था। उसने बताया कि उस मच्छर ने जैसे एक इंसेक्ट का नहीं बल्कि एक पर्सनालिटी का रूप रख लिया था, कि वह किसी भी तरह से उस डिब्बे में मुझे परेशान करने वाला था, यद्यपि वह गैर कानूनी ढंग से यात्रा कर रहा था। राइटर कहता है उसे मारने का प्रयास मेरा व्यर्थ जाता रहा था,